Let's graph this polar equation, y equals to 2 plus 6 cosine theta. I already have a table. I already fill out the table. This is what you can do. We are going to get this graph by doing table value. So I will just plot every single point and then connect them to get a graph. I want you to set your graph calculator in degree mode. And then you can start doing this. 2 plus 6 cosine 0 degree. So this one, I put degree and radian, 0 degree. And then my increment is 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 75 degree, 90 degree, and then so on and so forth. So all you have to do is in your calculator, make sure you are in degree mode. And then you will just have to do 2 plus 6 cosine 0 degree, 15 degree, 30 degree until you finish the whole table. And then regarding the rounding, I will just round this to 2 decimal places. All right. If you don't want to do this step by step, there is a quicker way to do it using your graphing calculator. And in this video, I will also introduce a graphing calculator and Desmos. So assuming that you do it in the slowest way, and then you do this one at a time, and then you get the whole table. All right. And then how to do this faster. So let me move on to my next page. I will come back to this page. This is using a TI-84 plus CE. First of all, I need you to go to your mode key. Okay, turn on your calculator. Whatever you have from the previous computation, just hit the mode key. Just hit the mode key, and then I want you to set your calculator in degree mode. And then I will need to graph polar equation. Degree mode, and then polar equation. And then in case you're wondering, hey, how do I exit to the home screen? To exit to the home screen, do you see that on your calculator? Above the mode key, there is a word quick. The quick is in blue, right? That's why the second key is in blue. That is the only blue key on your calculator. You click second, you click mode, and then whatever you are doing, that is you just go back to the home page. And then to input your equation, so now your calculator is in degree mode graphing polar equation, and then you need to press the y equal key. And then I want you to input 2 plus 6 cosine theta. So just like right here, 2 plus 6 cosine theta. 2 plus 6 cosine theta. And then I need to set up the window before I do the graph. So you click the window key. And then for degree mode, I go from 0 to 360 degree. That is like from 0 to 2 pi. And then the theta step. This one, if you want the calculator to trace the graph very slowly, I recommend you to use a small number like a 0.2 or a 0.1. The smaller number you use, the slower they will trace the graph. This is like from 0 to 360 degree. You want to go 0.2 degree at a time. If you do a 0.1, then you want the calculator to graph 0.1 degree at a time. And then the best window for the X minimum and maximum, this one is just like the rectangular, the XY plane. I will do -10 to +10 one step at a time for both X and Y. So if the graph goes out of this window, you can always come back to window and then do the adjustment. And then once you're ready, click the graph key, and then the graphing calculator will start graphing this. We will start tracing this graph for you. Okay, and then you see the graph. Okay, so after you finish this by hand, you should see a similar graph. And then what about the table values? How do you get these values in one click? Okay, in a few clicks of a button. How about we set up a table? So to set up a table, do you see that above the window key, there is a blue word called table set? You press second, and then you press the window key. And then I would like to start from 0, and then my increment is 15 degree. 15 degree to me is the best. And then also my graphing paper, we go 15 degree per step, 15 degree. So that's why I prefer 15. If you use 30, I don't really recommend that, because maybe the graph isn't that smooth. It's like you miss a lot of details. I don't really like using a 30. And then you set up a table, you do the setup, and then if you want to see the table, do you see above the graph key, there is a word table in blue. Then you click second, and then you click the graph key, and then they will show you this table. You hit the down arrow, and then you can see the whole thing. So this one is you can set up the table in a few clicks, and then of course you will put this number to this table, and then you just plot the points one at a time, and then you trace them to get the polar graph. And then also in Desmos, Desmos doesn't really show you the table. So for Desmos, you need to click this wrench to open up this window, and then this is for polar graph. The first one is for rectangular graph, which is an XY plane. So I selected this one, and then I type R from 2 to 6 cosine theta, and then the theta is from 0 to 2 pi. The theta is from 0 to 2 pi. And then they will just show you the graph, but unfortunately, this one doesn't show you a table. And then there is another way to take the advantage of this. Do you see that on my graph, this is from 0 and then pi over 12, pi over 6, right? Okay, here, look. This one 0. How about you don't input 2 pi, you input a pi over 12 first, and then they will show you only the piece from 0 to pi over 12, and then you change the pi over 12 to 2 pi over 12, and then 3 pi over 12, 4 pi over 12, 5 pi over 12, 6 pi over 12. So you increase this until you reach to 2 pi, which is 24 pi over 12. And then you will see that the graph will just go one step at a time, and then eventually they will finish the whole graph. So without the table, you can still take the advantage of this just by changing the 2 pi. If you just type 2 pi right there, they will show you the whole graph. You can do a 1 pi over 12, and then you change the 1 to a 2, to a 3, to a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you go one step at a time, and then they will finish the whole graph for you. Okay, that is another advantage. Actually, this technique is pretty useful using Desmos. Okay, so that is using the technology, and then let's go back to do the graph by hand. Okay. So go back to this one. I use a purple for the first column, and then this one, you can take a screenshot right now because I already have a record in my on my laptop. So you can take a screenshot right now, and then just put this down on your paper, and then you can follow the graph with me, because once I move up, you can't see the table anymore. Okay, let me just erase this. I would like to do the numbers first. So how about I do the numbers? So this will be 0, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the first point is, what's the first point? The first point is R is 8, 0 degree. Okay, 0, 8. And then 15 degree is 7.8. And then 30 degree is 7.2. 45 degree is 6.25. 6.25, and then we reach to 5 for pi over 3. 5 pi over 12 is 3.35. 3.35 is around, hold on, I am tracing right here, and then 90 degree is a 2, and then 105 degree is 0.45, which is right there. So the first line is finished. And then, did I miss anything? How come the graph doesn't look right? Okay, checking. Pi over 3, pi over 3. Okay, pi over 3 is 5. Okay, this is a mistake. This is supposed to be a 5. So 5 is right here, and then we have this curve at this time. All right. I just finished the first one, and then I just finished the first line. That's why I mark my table. So once I'm done, I mark my table, because when you go back and forth, it is so easy to lose which one you just did. And then you don't want to go back to do this again. So that's why when I finish something, I mark my table, and then I move on to the next line using orange. The next line is all negative for the orange. I have -1 and then 120. Where is that? So -1 is right there, 120, 120. You have to go one quadrant and then plus 2 steps. So -1, 120. I have to go full quadrant and then plus another 2 steps right here. Okay, And then the next one is negative 2.24. So 2.24 and then 3.20. We are still going clockwise. We are still doing counterclockwise. I am just pushing forward. 3.2 and then 3.8 and then 180 is 4. So we will just not pass the origin or the pole, and then we will just stop right there. Okay, and then that is for the orange. And then I see that I am touching the 180 degree. That's why I take a stop. I mark the orange. And then I'm going to do the red. Negative 380, 195, 195 degrees. So negative 3.8 is like right here. 195 is you have to go 2 quadrant and then plus 1 step. Okay, then I will just go 2 quadrants plus another step. So that will be right here. And then that is negative 3.8, negative 3.2, 2.24, and then negative 1, and then 220, 0.45, which is right here, and then 225, which 225 degree? 225 degree is right here. And then 225 degree corresponds to 0.45, which is right there. And then 270 is 2. So you 2, and then you go to 270. And then follow the orange. We will just mark this, not passing through the origin, and then right there. Okay, let's erase that 2. Okay, I mark at the 2, this the red 2, right here, the red 2. And then the last couple, one is the green, and then I have 3.55, 285. Okay, using green, 285 is right there. I have 3.35. Then that will be going almost a full circle. And then 285, that will be right there. Okay, then I will mark this. This is 3.55. Actually, I can mark in the middle. And then go to a 5. And then 6.24. And then 7.2. And then 7.8. And then 8. Then we will just go this way. There we go. And then why do I go back to 8? There is no 8 in there, right? Because we are going back to a 2 pi. 2 pi is 0. So that is the graph. So that confirms to what I have from the graphing calculator and also Desmos. Okay, so this graphing may take you a while to finish in the first couple graphs, but after you get used to it, you can finish that pretty fast. Okay, that is the end of this video. Hopefully you have so many takeaways from this video. I will meet you all in the next video for another polar equation. See you there.